So I've got today's lineup for the Yankees versus the Mets. But there's some big injury news. We're going to talk about that right now. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. So I have today's lineup for the Yankees against the Mets. But here's some stuff that I want to talk about first, okay? This is right from Scott Boras. This is directly from, this is quoted from him. There is a pitching panic going on in baseball, Boras said. We've got so many starting pitchers that are now compromised, maybe short-term, some long-term. And the calls for elite starters are starting to increase. Well, in all honesty, if that were the case, you would have had Montgomery signed already. You would have had SNELL signed. Okay? Period. You know, the Yankees made 2 offers to SNELL. Turned them both down. That's on you. So, but now, maybe you were waiting. Maybe you were waiting for an injury to happen to present an opportunity to get your guys signed. You know, you could just say the offers weren't to my liking. You should have just said that instead of lawyer talk. Well, now your opportunity may have presented itself because reporting just came out a little bit ago from Jeff Pass on ESPN. I'm going to read this too. Initial imaging shows Boston Red Sox newly acquired starter Lucas Giolito likely has a partially torn UCL and flexor strain that could miss the entire 2024 season. League sources tell ESPN. Giolito, who signed a 2-year deal with Boston, may need surgery to repair the right elbow damage. So he might miss the whole entire season. This could create an opportunity to facilitate the Montgomery deal to Boston now, or potentially even Blake Snell. Right? And which is crazy, but maybe Boras was waiting for an injury like that to present himself with a case to have one of his players signed. Now, Jordan Montgomery already talked to the Red Sox about almost 4 weeks ago via Zoom. Nothing happened since then. Jordan Montgomery has also expressed frustration about not being signed. That's mainly due to Scott Boras. Okay, Blake Snell's apparently voicing the same frustration now, not being signed, again, due to Scott Boras. These guys are way behind. And it's, you know, talk like this, Scott Boras, you're not taking any ownership of it, saying, well, I'm the reason why I'm holding the market hostage for my pitchers, okay? The $150 million deal, which was $150 million more than anybody else gave, wasn't good enough for me. Because I tried to position myself to get a $270 million deal, even though I've at this point I've already taken shorter deals and small deals for Matt Chapman, CODY, Bellinger, and likely going to have to do the same for Blake Snell and Montgomery, despite Lucas Giolito's injury. Now, this doesn't mean they're going to sign Snell and Montgomery, you know, but this gives an opportunity now to fill the Boston rotation up one of these guys. I had already predicted Montgomery going to Boston anyway, regardless of what happened to Giolito, but maybe this will speed up the process. Maybe this would accelerate one of these guys potentially being signed by Boston. But that said, these guys are deep pockets. They still haven't signed a pitcher yet at this point. And again, it's becoming more readily apparent each day that owners just don't want to deal with Scott Boras. And it's for reasons like this, when he says things like this, okay, and without taking any ownership for his partner, helping to cause one of these problems. So, you know, it's like going to a hotel and saying, well, this mess I walked into this mess, and not holding the guy who made the mess accountable. Well, Scott Boras could be the guy that made the mess, okay? And he could say, oh, it wasn't my mess, and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, kind of a weird analogy, but this is what I'm talking about. Scott Boras has got away with this stuff for way too long. It's time to start holding him accountable and not dealing with him. Hit him where it hurts, in his pocket. He doesn't get paid until these guys sign. If I were them, I'd consider firing Scott Boras. They would get paid well regardless of who is agent. So, with that said, let's get to the more important stuff, the Yankees lineup. Here we go. Anthony Volpe's leading off at shortstop. Trent Grisham's back where he belongs, to center field. Batting second. Everson Pereira, batting third, left field. Austin Wall's at the cleanup spot at DH today. Oswald Peraza is in there. It's good to see him back and healthy. You know, he had a scare for a couple days there. He's at second base, batting fifth. Batting sixth, Oswaldo Cabrera is at first base today. Batting seventh, Oscar Gonzalez back in there in right field. Ben Warfet's at the dish, batting eighth. Jeter Downs batting ninth and third base. And on the mound, on the stump, toeing the slab is Tanner Tully, left-handed pitcher. Okay, maybe the Yankees are trying to see who's going to fill out the rest of the bullpen, what kind of depth they need. This is why, you know, they don't need to rush Carlos Rodon. They don't need to rush Nestor Cortez. They don't need to rush these other guys right now. So they're letting them continue to develop, just like they're not rushing Tommy Kahnle. They're slowing him into the season. He had a shoulder injury now. You know, last season, they're easing him back in so he can recover from it properly. So that could be, he could be at his best when they need it the most. He wasn't that last season. So that's the lineup. Let me know what your thoughts are. Not a lot of starters in there, only a couple, but the key guys are sitting. Most of the key guys were in there yesterday. And Marlins, which they won 3-2. But again, they're key guys. Like I said, as we get closer to the regular season, we'll start to get a better semblance of what this lineup's going to look like. And it looks like they're still looking for a depth piece, a bench piece, a veteran bat for that bench. I don't know who the heck it's going to be. But right now, as we look at this lineup, it's good to see Oswald Peraza back in it. Okay? Because we need to see whether he's going to position himself to either play regularly at AAA or become a trade piece or whatnot. Because the only way he's going to have any type of benefit at the major league level if he plays every day. And there isn't a spot for him right now, unfortunately, every day. If DJ's occupying third, Torres is occupying second, and then you have Volpe at shortstop and Rizzo at first, there's not a spot for Peraza, despite his elite glove. So playing him regularly in AAA makes the most sense. That way he could continue to stay sharp. That way, if there's an injury, he can step up and he won't have to worry about, you know, not needing a monster transition. So just the same thing goes for Yorbit Vivas. I think he should play second at AAA as well on a regular basis or every day, so that he's also ready to replace Gleyber Torres if Gleyber Torres walks. We've talked about this before, but that's the Yankees lineup. That's the news. Boras is nuts, okay? And he needs to be held accountable, in all honesty. But now that there's not a key injury to the Boston Red Sox, and this is what I'm talking about, okay? Other teams, guys get hurt too, okay? And it doesn't matter who they are. We could have key injuries to other players too. At some point, we could hear about it tomorrow. We could hear about it the next day. So hopefully they're not the Yankees. But Red Sox need a starter now. And I would imagine they're going to either sign one or trade for one. Who? I don't know. But Scott Boras is he's definitely open for business. But like I said yesterday too, I would rather do no deal with Scott Boras than a bad one. Okay, period. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have a good day, everybody. If anything else comes out, you're going to get it here. And if you're not, for some reason, not sub to this channel, please do that right now. And hit the like button if you enjoy the content too. And if you want to be at the front of the line when the news comes in, just hit the notification button. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. That's what I got for you right now. Stay tuned. There's more coming. Peace.